So welcome! It's been a minute since we did our last video, but today is February 1st, and we said we were going to do Freezer Food February. The thought behind this, a good friend of ours introduced it to us. If you're putting up a lot of vegetables and fruit and meat as it's in season, every once in a while you have to thaw out your freezers or they don't work well. So we started doing every year Freezer Food February, and we don't buy anything if we can possibly help it. It does two things. One, it clears out our freezers, and two, it gives us a way to put aside some money because spring's coming, and spring is always expensive on the farm. So I wanted to mention a book to you today. This is a book that we've had on our bookshelf since we first had kids. It's called the Tightwad Gazette. Kind of a funny name, but this is all 3 volumes. The author used to do a newsletter to people that were trying to save money and be frugal, and they put it into a book format. This book is a wealth of information. Some of it, granted, is a little dated because of the price of things, but the principles are solid. They've got things in here for how to make Christmas gifts, spice tea mix, bean soup mix, that kind of thing. There was an article or a letter somebody had written in that they take their Christmas trees and they shred them, and ways that they can use those instead of just throwing the Christmas tree away. Making, I think it was potpourri. The breakdown popcorn, whether popping your own or buying microwave popcorn, which is the better way to go. They cover so many different topics. We used this book extensively when we were young, having our first kid and starting out on one income. We were able to keep me home with our kids for a long time because of this book. Some of it's just fun to read, because I don't think I would ever go dumpster diving. It's just not my personality. But they talk about that. You know, if you're in need and there's something there, I guess you'd have to check your local ordinances. But it's a hoot. Anyway, it's a great book for anybody that wants some tips on ways to save money and stretch your budget a little further. I think the biggest thing that our family took from this book was there's an article on when you're grocery shopping to make a price book so that you know what prices things are regularly at different stores in your area, because the grocery stores will put items on sale on a regular basis, and if you can track that, then you know, okay, it's the 3rd week of March, peanut butter always goes on sale at this particular store, because stores do it in a rotation. That's how they can keep up with all the different sales. So if you can key into that, you can save quite a bit of money, always knowing you buy your peanut butter on the 3rd week of March. So enough about that. Let's get into doing Freezer Food February. I have my trusty notebook, dated, meats here, vegetables here, fruits here. Very simple. We just write down what we have as we find it, and if we find anything that's freezer burnt and looking like you can't tell what it is anymore, we just pitch it. So by the time we're done here, between our upstairs freezer and our 2 downstairs freezers, we're going to have a really good idea of what we need to use up in the next month. Let's get to it. you want to zoom back in, I'll talk about. So these are a couple of the items we pulled out. These are dated. They're flowers we have not used in a very long time. Okra, we ate it at one point, but nobody really likes it. These are tidbits of, I'm not sure if they're gizzards, but nobody here eats them, and liver. So we're gonna move these to a different part of our freezer, or we may just get rid of them because they're just taking up space and we're not gonna eat them. So we'll move down to the downstairs freezers next. See you in a minute.
Okay. Ready?
Yep, this is our small freezer. What do you got?
Blueberries.
Hold on, I gotta find blueberries. Ah, where are the blueberries? How many?
5.
Okay, 5 blueberries. Yeah, that's like 2016.
No, that goes.
Wow, 2010. Yeah, that's gonna go. Alright, so this is our big freezer, the one we use most often, and we just actually went and picked up a whole bunch of boneless chicken breasts. We buy it in bulk and break it down because there's only 4 or 5 of us on any given night. So, here we go. Yes, our children like to put their names on.
She's eating a lot of those.
That's okay. Alright, so let's get to it.
Set that on
I'll
top
set
of
them over here.
Four pies. Gourmet peanut butter cookies.
So now we've gone through all of our freezers, the upstairs freezer, the small freezer, and the big freezer. And it's always interesting to realize what we have on hand, because I'll ask, what do we have downstairs for dinner? And I get a myriad of answers. We have plenty. So our next step in the process, now that we know what we have in the freezers, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to come up with as many meal ideas as possible to see how far this is going to take us. Just because we've done this before, we have plenty of proteins, meat, and such to get through all of February and all of March. So we may extend it, and often we do. Our goal again is we want to get the meat that we stored last year eaten up so that we can put fresh meat to get us through the winter. I would say we are a little light on some of our frozen foods, but I'm gonna mix and match and put together some ideas. We got a couple pies to eat, some cookies we need to make, but the goal is to get these freezers thawed, shut down, cleaned out, so that we're ready come summer to start putting in our own fresh frozen green beans and Brussels sprouts and the like. So with that, I challenge you, come on, freezer food February with us.